Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 13th lecture of the course Introduction to the Toy Design. My name is Dr. Supradip Das. I am an assistant professor at the Department of Design at IIT Guwahati. In the previous lecture, we understood about play-driven design through various case studies. Today, we will shift our focus from the play-driven design to play experiences. Playfulness is an important yet often overlooked design quality for interactive products. In this lecture, we will discuss 22 different aspects of playful experiences, accompanied by relevant examples. We will examine these aspects in relation to age and product type, highlighting how individual tendencies to experience playfulness can vary. Additionally, we will explore how these factors influence play patterns. By the end of this lecture, you will understand that playful experiences are diverse and intentional. You will also understand that playful experiences help bridge user needs with toy design. Most importantly, you will be able to apply playful experiences as a design tool. Let us now shift the lens a bit and ask an important question. Why does play experience matter? Why not jump straight from requirements to solutions? That is, designing a toy. You may remember we already discussed in lecture 3 that good toy design shapes the way children make sense of the world, not by instruction, but through experience. Children rarely just need a function. They also need engagement, expression, social connection, curiosity, a sense of control or discovery. Playful experiences help designers recognize these latent needs by focusing on how users feel, not just what they do. So, the first answer is that playful experiences help designers look beyond functional needs to experiential needs. Many user needs are tacit, hard to articulate in words. That's joy, boredom, delight, etc. Playful interactions surface emotions through action, reveal preferences through behavior, expose moments of frustration or excitement. In summary, if designers understand the experiential needs of the children, they can turn fuzzy emotions into actionable toy designs, which will fulfill the functional need of the children. The playful experiences, that is, Plex framework, is a categorization of 22 playful experiences based on previous theoretical work on pleasurable experiences, game experiences, emotions, elements of play, and the reasons why people play. Let us look into each of these experiences in detail. The first play experience is captivation, which refers to moments when play completely absorbs the player's attention. The child becomes so involved that they temporarily forget their surroundings. In design, captivation is not about excitement alone, but about sustained focus. A familiar play example would be a child deeply engaged in building Lego mindstorms or solving jigsaw puzzle, continuing for long periods without distraction. Captivation changes significantly with age. For infants, captivation is brief and sensory driven. It emerges from movement, sound, color, and immediate cause effect. At this stage, prolonged or highly structured engagement, such as complex construction toys, can lead to boredom rather than absorption, as infants thrive on free, fluid exploration. As children grow into the preschool years, captivation develops through repetition and imaginative engagement, where familiar actions are joyful, repeated, and slowly expanded. In middle childhood and older children, captivation becomes sustained through open ended problem solving, long term goals, strategic depth, and creative construction, such as Lego or jigsaw puzzles. The second experience is challenge. It emerges when a task pushes the child's abilities during play without overwhelming the child. In early childhood, challenge must be minimal and carefully calibrated, as infants and toddlers have low tolerance for failure and frustration. Simple challenges such as fitting large shapes into a sorter provide just enough resistance to sustain interest. As children grow older, they become capable of engaging with tasks and require effort, persistence, and learning from mistakes. It is important for a designer to maintain this balance while designing children's toys. Similarly, for older children, solving a complex puzzle or completing a difficult level in a game demonstrates challenge. The pleasure comes abstract thinking, delayed rewards, and layered difficulty. The next play experience is competition. It involves measuring one's performance against others or against previous attempts. Competition in play can be social or personal. Social competition involves comparing performance with others. The presence of opponents creates comparison, ranking, and the desire to win, like in the case of board games like Ludo, where motivation is driven by winning or outperforming peers. Personal competition occurs when players compete with their own past performances, such as trying to beat a previous score or finish a task faster. For example, a child may try to complete a puzzle faster than before, achieve a higher score in a single player racing game, or beat their own record. The motivation arises from self improvement rather than external comparisons. Competition is largely absent in infancy, as young children lack the cognitive ability to compare performances. In the preschool years, competition begins to emerge in playful, non serious forms, often focused on participation rather than winning. During middle childhood, children become more aware to rules, fairness, and outcomes, making social competition meaningful and motivating in board games or sports. Older children are capable of handling more intense form of competition, including ranking, scoring systems, and self-improvement against past performance, allowing competition to become both social and personal. Completion refers to the emotional reward experience when task reaches a clear endpoint. This play experience depends on well-defined goals and visible markers of progress. Activities such as completing a jigsaw puzzle or finishing a construction kit generate a strong sense of closure and accomplishment. Completion is also central to collection-based forms of play. Collecting toys, cards, or collectibles involves the desire of complete a full set. Each missing piece creates anticipation, while acquiring the final item produces satisfaction and closure. In such cases, the act of completing the collection becomes the primary motivation, reinforcing engagement through long-term goal pursuit. For infants and toddlers, completion is experienced through simple closure, such as stacking all the blocks or finishing a short self-contained action, without conscious sense of achievement. Gratification at this stage is often external, expressed through gestures like clapping of hands, which reinforces the pleasure of finishing an activity. As children grow older, they begin to recognize clear endpoints and associate completion with accomplishment, making it a strong motivational factor in play. This is why video games appeal to children across age group. Clearly defined levels combined with immediate rewards such as points, badges, or visual celebrations transform task completion into a satisfying and repeatable experience. Control refers to a pleasure derived from directing outcomes and influencing systems. The feeling of control emerges most strongly when a skilled individual engages with a task that is moderately challenging. This balance between skill and challenge enables a sense of mastery. In play contexts, control may be experienced through precise interfaces such as remote control toys, game controller, or simulation systems that offer detailed inputs. Control can also extend to influencing others, such as taking on leadership roles in team-based play. In infancy, control is bodily and immediate. Toys that respond directly to touch, pushing, or pulling help children experience agency, as in the case of a push-pull toy. As toddlers develop motor and cognitive skills, control expands into intentional cause-effect, where children begin to predict outcomes. In middle childhood, control becomes associated with skills and mastery, such as operating remote control toys or navigating games. Cruelty in play does not involve real harm or malicious intent. Instead, it refers to symbolic, fictional, or abstracted forms of aggression that occurs within clearly defined play boundaries. Such experiences allow players to explore feeling of dominance, power, or destruction in a safe and socially acceptable manner. This form of play commonly appears in virtual or highly abstracted environments where actions have no real-world consequences. For example, crushing enemies in a video game, destroying digital objects, or knocking down toy structures enables players to enact aggressive behaviors without causing actual damage or harm. Cruelty in play does not appear in infancy, as children lack symbolic understanding of aggression. In preschool years, symbolic destruction, such as knocking down block towers, emerges as a playful exploration of power. During middle childhood, cruelty becomes more abstract and rule bounded, often expressed through fictional violences in game or competitive contexts. Older children can safely explore cruelty through highly mediated environments such as video games, where aggressive actions are clearly separated from real world consequences. Discovery refers to the play experience of uncovering something new, unexpected, or previously known. It may involve finding hidden elements, realizing new relationship between actions and outcomes, or discovering novel ways to interact with a product. This experience thrives on uncertainty and curiosity and is often preceded by exploration. In play outcomes, experimenting with a product without instructions and unexpectedly uncovering a new function can generate a strong sense of discovery. Surprise toys are a direct embodiment of discovery driven toy. The toy is concealed within opaque packaging, creating anticipation and uncertainty. The act of opening the package reveals an unknown object, rewarding curiosity with surprise. In many cases, discovery extends beyond the reveal itself as children explore the toy's form, function, or role within a large collection. Here, the pleasure lies not only in the object but also in the moment of realization and revelation. For infants, discovery is sensory and immediate, involving textures, sounds, and movements. Toddlers experience discovery through experimentation, pressing buttons, opening flaps, or uncovering hidden elements, while older children experience discovery through layered information, hidden strategies, or complex environments where curiosity is sustained over time. Eroticism in children's play experiences can be understood as a dimension of social interaction. Virtual characters in games or pretend play allow children to explore fantasies or enact romantic relationships. Interestingly, these scenarios are not always explicitly designed by the developers. Rather than the game mechanics provide players with the freedom to create such experiences themselves. The idea becomes easier to understand if we look at children playing house. In this form of play, children imitate adult social roles, parent, partner, caregiver, based on what they observe around them. The game itself does not explicitly teach romance or intimacy. Instead, it provides a loose framework within which players project their own understanding of relationship. Eroticism in early childhood is not sexual, but social and imitative. Infants and toddlers observe closeness and care without understanding relationships. Preschool children begin to imitate adult roles through pretend play, such as playing house, exploring social bonding symbolically. In middle childhood, children may experiment with friendships, admiration, or role based affection. For older children, romantic narratives and identity exploration may emerge. Exploration refers to the experience or moving through spaces or situations without rigid goals or predefined outcomes. Players operate within rules and settings but choose their own paths and strategies, guided by the desire to understand unknown properties of an environment, object, or situation. Exploration can also be experienced in everyday interactions, such as unboxing a new product where information is revealed step by step. Dollhouse play is a beautiful example where exploration is offered in a structured space without fixed goals. It provides defined room, objects, and characters. But children decide on their own how to move through the spaces, rearrange elements, and create situations. Children freely choose paths, test possibilities, and discover new meanings, whether by opening doors, shifting furniture, or inventing everyday routines and stories. Across the age groups, exploration can be seen evolving from bodily and sensory engagement in infancy to spatial and symbolic exploration in toddlerhood, becoming more intentional and rule aware as the child grows. Expression is the experience of creatively manifesting oneself through play or interaction. It allows individuals to project identity, emotion, and personal meaning into an activity. These can take any forms: drawing, crafting, building, modifying, or personalizing objects and environments. Importantly, expression does not require a permanent outcome or an external audience. Even temporary acts like doodling or rearranging elements can be deeply expressive. Expression in the form of play can be seen across all age groups. Infants express themselves through movement and sound rather than intentional creation. Toddlers begin expressing identity through drawing, choosing colors, or arranging objects. In middle childhood, expression becomes more personal and symbolic as children modify, build, or customize objects. Older children use expression to project identity, values, and creativity, often through design, customization, or digital creation. Fantasy involves the pleasure derived from imaginative experiences like make believe. Through fantasy, players step into roles, worlds, or identities that differ from their everyday lives. Pretend play, such as imagining oneself as a superhero or assigning personalities to dolls, allow children to experiment with emotions, social roles, and responsibilities and possibilities in a safe, symbolic space. Fantasy can range from brief moment of daydreaming to deep immersion in fictional world. Fantasy often provides a child with a temporary escape from routine or mundane task. In play, this imaginative engagement supports emotional and cognitive development by enabling players to explore what could be rather than what already is. Fantasy in infancy is passive and sensory, shaped by caregivers. Preschool children actively engage in fantasy through pretend play and role assumptions. In older children, fantasy become narrative driven, allowing children to inhabit imagined worlds with rules and characters. Fellowship arises from shared play experiences and social interactions. It encompasses feelings of friendship, belonging, trust, and mutual appreciation that develop when individuals play together. Fellowship can be seen in cooperative games, group puzzles, role playing activities, and online multiplayer environments where collaboration and communication are essential. Infants engage in parallel play, and fellowship is not observed in them. Toddlers begin simple cooperative behaviors such as sharing space or objects. In middle childhood, fellowship emerges strongly through teamwork, collaboration, and shared goals. Older children form deeper social bonds through group identity, long-term cooperation, and online communities. Humor in play arises from surprise, exaggeration, or silliness. In games and toys, humor can emerge through unexpected actions, visual gags, or absurd behaviors, such as novelty toys or products that behave in surprising ways. For a child, humor creates instant emotional engagement with the toy and makes interactions feel approachable and memorable. A classic example of humor in play can be seen in Jack in the Box toys. The toy establishes a clear expectation. The child turns the handle and anticipates something predictable. Instead, the sudden pop-up of the figure violates the expectation in a surprising but harmless way. Once the surprise is resolved, child laughs and often repeats the action, finding pleasure in knowing what happens but still enjoying how it happens. Humor in infants is sensory and immediate, peekaboo or funny sounds. Toddlers enjoy exaggeration and physical silliness. Middle childhood humor involves surprise, rule breaking, and simple jokes. Older children appreciate irony, parody, and social humor, using play to negotiate social norms. Nurture is experienced when players take responsibility for the care of others or themselves. In play, this is commonly seen in interactions with dolls or plush toys, where children practice empathy, caregiving, and emotional attachment. In digital contexts, nurture extends to maintaining virtual beings, supporting other players, or developing bonds with avatars. Nurture as an elemental form of interaction that fosters responsibility and emotional connection, whether directed towards characters, object, or even broader ideas such as caring for the environment. Infants receive care rather than provide it. For an infant, sleeping with a plush toy is to receive comfort from it. On the other hand, toddlers start caregiving and form an emotional attachment with their dolls and plush toys. In middle childhood, nurture expands to responsibility, such as caring for pets or virtual beings. Older children experience nurtured through empathy, mentoring, or sustaining long term systems. Relaxation focused play emphasizes calmness and unwinding rather than excitement or challenge. It can arise through soothing repetitive motions, soft textures, or gentle sensory feedback, or through mental ease when players feel in control of an activity. Examples include playing with slimes, kinetic sand, or engaging in low pressure games designed for stress relief like fidget toys. Relaxation can be incorporated into play experiences across all age groups, though it is experienced differently at each stage. For infants, relaxation comes from rhythmic and soothing sensory input, such as gentle movement or soft sounds. Toddlers find relaxation through repetitive actions like that of a puppet toy. In middle childhood, relaxation often emerges from feelings of mastery and engagement in low pressure play. Older children increasingly use relaxation as an intentional form of stress relief, turning to calming activities or games to unwind and regain emotional balance. Sensation driven play centers on direct bodily and sensory experience. It involves pleasure derived from stimulating the senses through touch, sound, movement, or visual richness. Textured toys, musical instruments, spinning objects, and physical activities engage players at a visceral level, enhancing immersion. Sensation driven play is important because it grounds play in the body, making experiences immediate, engaging, and emotionally meaningful. Infants and toddlers rely heavily on sensation for engagement. They seek strong sensory feedback. Middle school balances sensation with cognition. Older children pursue sensation through physical challenges, speed, or immersive audiovisual experiences. Older children seek sensory stimulation while also engaging their thinking and problem solving abilities. For example, simple signs or STEM toys provides tactile feedback through snapping pieces together while simultaneously requiring planning, spatial reasoning, and logical sequencing. Simulation allows players to rehearse real-world roles and activities within a playful, low-risk environment. Through imitation of everyday life, such as cooking in toy kitchen or navigating a driving simulator, players gain pleasure from recognition, mastery, and make-believe. The realism of simulation can vary from close replicas to abstract representations. The less literal the imitation, the more imagination is required. As scholars of play suggest, simulation supports learning and understanding by translating real world experiences into accessible exploratory forms. Infants observe simulation passively. Toddlers imitate everyday actions symbolically. Middle childhood engages in role based simulation with rules. Older children rehearse real world systems through detailed simulations. Submission refers to the experience of willingly placing oneself within a large system of rules, structure, or social agreements. In play, this occurs when players commit to following the rules of the game, accepting roles within a team, or participating in shared rituals such as turn taking. Infants experience submission through routines. Toddler learn turn taking. Middle childhood willingly submits to rules in games. Older children commit to complex social systems like team or guilds. Clear child play example of submission can be seen in a simple game like musical chair. In this game, children willingly agree to a set of rules. They must walk around the chairs while the music plays, stop immediately when it ends, and accept elimination if they do not find a seat. Although the rules can feel restrictive or even disappointing, children continue to participate because submitting to those constraints make the game meaningful and exciting. By accepting turn taking, fairness, and outcomes beyond their control, children experience how order and shared agreement enable play to function as a safe collective activity. Subversion allows players to safely challenge norms by playfully breaking, bending, or inventing social rules. Within the protective frame of play, behaviors that might otherwise be unacceptable, like self mockery, exaggeration, parody, or role reversal, becomes permissible and even enjoyable. Examples include karaoke performances or humorous exaggeration in games and social media. Subversion allows players to experiment with identity and power structures while maintaining social safety. For example, children pretending to be naughty teachers here, subversion operates through role reversal. The teacher, normally a figure of authority who enforces rules and disciplines, is reimagined as mischievous, silly, or rule breaking. Children may exaggerate behaviors by giving funny punishments or deliberately doing things wrong to parody the authority figure. Subversion is absent in infancy. Toddlers show mild rule-breaking humor, while older children explores role reversal and engages in social critique through parody. Suffering in play refers to the temporary discomfort children experience, such as frustration, anxiety, boredom, or stress. It is an inevitable part of play and often a necessary precursor to meaningful engagement and reward. While excessive suffering may result from poor design, appropriate challenge and pressure create brief discomfort that deepens involvement and enhances later pleasure, making success and mastery more emotionally rewarding. STEM coding toys such as programmable robots or block based coding kits clearly illustrate this. Children often feel frustrated when their codes fail or the robot behaves unexpectedly. This trial and error process is inherently uncomfortable, yet it is essential to learning. When the child finally succeeds, the relief and sense of achievement are intensified by the early struggle, encouraging persistence and mastery. Tolerance for suffering in play develops with age. Infants experience frustration. Quickly, toddlers begin to build tolerance. Children in middle childhood learn persistence through challenge, and older children increasingly accept discomfort as part of mastery. Sympathy in play emerges when players emotionally connect with characters or others. It is often elicited through narrative, anthropomorphism, and character vulnerability, such as identifying with underdog or feeling concern for a hard character. Narrative games and puppet storytelling encourage emotional attachment, making players care and feel invested in the experience. The capacity of sympathy in play develops with age. Infants respond emotionally to faces and expressions. Toddlers begin to empathize symbolically through pretend play. Children in middle childhood form emotional connections with characters, and older children develop more complex emotional identification and perspective taking. The last but not the least, thrill. Thrill comes from perceived risk without real danger. Slides, racing games, or fast paced play offer excitement within safe boundaries. Thrill is the excitement generated by risk, uncertainty, fear, or the possibility of gain or loss. In play, this risk is usually mediated and safe, allowing players to experience danger without real world consequences. Thrill can arise from chance based outcomes, competitive pressure, or delayed revelation, such as slowly turning over cards in a game. By balancing uncertainty and control, thrill heightens attention, emotional arousal, and engagement. The experience of thrill in play evolves with age. Infants experience thrill primarily through sensory stimulation and movement, such as rocking, bouncing, or spinning. Toddlers begin to enjoy mild risk and surprise, testing limits through activities like climbing or jumping. In middle childhood, children seek controlled excitement, preferring challenges that balance safety with novelty. Older children pursue more complex forms of thrill, including strategic, emotional, or competitive excitement, where anticipation, risk, and outcome are mentally as well as physically engaging. Plex is a useful tool for designers in ideation because it reframes creativity around experiences rather than features. Instead of asking, "What should this toy do?" Plex asks, "What should this toy make the player feel and experience?" That shift is the core value. Furthermore, the 22 Plex categories, such as captivation, challenge, discovery, and nurture, gives designer a shared vocabulary for playfulness. It includes emotional, social, and even uncomfortable experiences, such as sympathy, suffering, and subversion, helping designers explore non-obvious play opportunities in toys, learning products, or everyday objects. Designers can combine categories in unexpected ways. Example, captivation and nurture, exploration and humor, producing a large number of diverse ideas in a short time. Plex encourages designers to think from the player's perspective, focusing on lived experiences rather than technical solutions. This leads to more meaningful, engaging, and human centered toy concepts. During team discussions, Plex cards function as thinking objects. They help teams anchor ideas, compare alternatives, and build on each other's thoughts, making collaboration smoother and richer. All these aspects makes Plex a good play experience design tool and also ideation tool. As we conclude this lecture, remember these tools like Plex remind us that play is not a single emotion or outcome, but a rich spectrum of experiences. By using Plex as a lens during ideation, designers can move beyond surface level fun and intentionally shape moments of captivation, challenge, discovery, and care. As you continue designing, observe, play around you, experiment with these experiential perspectives, and let play guide not just what you design, but how you think. See you in the next lecture. Till then, stay immersed in the playful experiences.